Impact of World War One on freedom movement. In We may recall that many foreigners, such as A.O. Hume, played a pivotal role in our freedom in the early stages. That Annie Besant played a similar role in the early part of the 20th century. Besant was Irish by birth and had been active in the Irish Home Rule, Fabian Socialist, and birth control movements. While in Britain, she joined the Theosophical Society and came to India in 1893. She founded the Central Hindu College in Benares and later upgraded as Benares Hindu University by Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya in 1916. The death of H. S. Alcott in 1907, Besant succeeded him as the international president of Theosophical Society. He was actively spreading the theosophical ideas from its headquarters Adyar in Chennai and gained the support of educated followers such as Jamnadas, Dwarkadas, George Arundel, Shankarlal Banker, Indulal Yagnik, C.P. Ramasamy, and B.P. Wadia. In 1914, Britain announced its entry in the First World War. It was claimed that it fighting for freedom and democracy. Indian villages believed and supported the British war effort. Soon there were delusions. There was no change in the British attitude towards India, more split into moderate and extremist wings. The Indian National Congress was not strong enough to press for further political reforms towards self-rule. The Muslim League was looked upon suspiciously by the British once the Sultan of Turkey entered the war supporting the Central Powers. It was in this backdrop that Besant entered into Indian politics. She started the Commonweal in 1914. The weekly focused on religious liberty, national education, social and political reforms. She published a book, How India Wrought for Freedom in 1915. In this book, she asserted the beginnings of national consciousness and deeply embedded in its ancient past. The moment of England's difficulty is the moment of India's opportunity, and wanted Indian leaders to press for reforms. She toured England and made many speeches in the cause for India's freedom. She also tried to form an Indian party in the parliament but was unsuccessful. She started daily newspaper New India on July 14, 1915. She revealed her concept of self-rule in a speech at Bombay. On September 20, 1915, Besant made a formal declaration that she would start the Home Rule League for India with objectives on the lines of Irish Home Rule League. The moderates did not like the idea of establishing another separate organization. She too realized the sanction of the Congress Party was necessary for movement to be successful. In December 1915, due to the efforts of Tilak and Besant, the Bombay section of Congress suitably altered the constitution of the Congress Party to admit the members from the extremist section. In the section, she insisted on Congress taking up the Home Rule League program before September 1916, failing which she would organize the Home Rule League on her own. The 1916 Home Rule Leagues were launched in the country, one under Tilak and other under Besant, with their spheres of activity well demarcated. The twin objectives of the Home Rule League were the establishment of home ruling for India in British Empire and arousing in the Indian masses a sense of pride for the motherland. Tilak Home Rule League was set up at Bombay Provincial Conference held at Belgaum in April 1916. Its league was to work in Maharashtra, including Bombay City, Karnataka, the central provinces, and Berar. Tilak's league was organized into 6 branches, and Annie Besant's league was given the rest of India. Home Rule League, it refers to a self-government granted by a home rule. This refers to self-government granted by a central or regional government to its dependent political units. The A system of home rule was established by Government of Ireland Act 1920 in six countries of Northern Ireland, and later by the Anglo-Irish Treaty in 1921 in the remaining 26 countries in the south. The Tilak popularized the demand for home rule through his lectures. The popularity of his league was confined to Maharashtra and Karnataka, but claimed a membership of 14,000 in April 1917 and 32,000 by early 1918. On 23rd July 1916, on his 60th birthday, Tilak was arrested for propagating the idea of home rule. President's Home Rule League, finding no signs from the Congress. Besant herself inaugurated the Home Rule League at Madras in September 1916. Its branches were established at Kanpur, Allahabad, Benares, Mathura, Calicut and Ahmednagar. She made an extensive tour and spread the idea of Home Rule League. The price of India's loyalty is India's freedom. Moderate congressmen who are dissatisfied with the inactivity of the Congress joined the Home Rule League. The popularity of the league can be gauged on the fact that Jawaharlal Nehru, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, V. Chakravarti, Jitendra Lal Banerjee, Satyamurthy, and Kali Kuzaman were taking up the membership of the league. At Besant's home rule movement became very popular in Madras. The government of Madras decided to suppress it. Students were barred from attending its meetings. In June 1917, Besant and her associates B.P. Wadia, Jaro Arundel were interred in Uttarakhand. The government's repression strengthened the supporters, and with renewed determination they began to resist. To support Besant, Sir S. Subramanian renounced his knighthood. Many leaders like Madan Mohan Malaviya and Surendranath Banerjee, who had earlier stayed away from the movement, enlisted themselves. At the AICC meeting convened on 28 July 1917, Tilak advocated the use of civil disobedience if they were not released. Jamnadas, uh, uh, Dwarkadas and Shankarlal Bankar, on the orders of Gandhi, collected 1,000 signatures willing to defy the internment orders and marched to Besant's place of detention. Due to the growing resistance, the internationalists were released. On 20th August 1917, the new Secretary of State Montagu announced the self-governing institutions and responsible government was the goal of the British rule in India. Almost overnight, the statement converted Besant into a near-loyalist. In September 1917, when she was elected the president of Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress in 1917. The Home Rule Leagues prepared the ground for the mass mobilization, paved the way for the Gandhi Satyagraha. Home Rule League movement declined after Besant accepted the proposed Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, and Tilak went to Britain in September 1918 to pursue the libel case that he had filed against Valentine Chirol, the author of Indian Unrest. The Indian Home Rule League was renamed the Commonwealth of India League and used to lobby British MPs in the support of self-government for India within the Empire or Dominion status along the lines of Canada and Australia. It was transformed by V.B. Krishnamenon into the India League in 1929. The moderates observed a policy of wait and watch uh, for, following the Minto reforms in 1909. The Muslim League welcomed the separate electorate according to them. accorded to them. In 1938, a group of leaders joined the League. The most prominent among them was Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was already a member of the Congress and demanded more reforms for the Muslims. The First World War provided the objective conditions for the revolutionary activity in India. The revolutionaries wanted to make the British difficulty during the war to their advantage. The Ghadar movement was one of its outcomes. The First World War had a major impact on the freedom movement. Initially, the British didn't care for Indian support. Once the war theatre moved to West Asia and Africa, the British were forced to look for Indian support. The Congress and Muslim League had their annual session at Bombay in 1915 and spoke in similar tones. In October 1916, the Hindu and Muslim elected members of the Imperial Legislative Council addressed a memorandum to the Viceroy on the post-war reforms. The British government was unmoved. The Congress and the League met at Calcutta in November 1916 and deliberated on the memorandum. Agreed on the composition of the legislature uh, for representation of the two communities in the post-war reforms. Parallel to this, Tilak and Besant were advocating the Home Rule. Due to their efforts, the Bombay session accepted to take back extremity session, and consequently the constitution of the Congress was altered. In 1916, there was a historic year since the Congress, Muslim League and the Awami League held their annual sessions at Lucknow. Ambedkar and Mazumdar, Congress president, welcomed the extremists. After 10 years of painful separation, Indian National Party have to realize the fact that they united their stand but divided their fall, and brothers have at last met brothers. Lala Dayal settled in San Francisco, founded the Pacific Coast Indian Association in 1913 with Sogan Singh Bhakna as president. The organization was popularly called Ghadar Party. Uh, the members of the party were immigrants of USA and Canada. The party published a journal called Ghadar. It began publication from San Francisco on November 1, 1930. Later it was published in Urdu, Punjabi, Hindi and other languages. A ship named Komar Tagaro filled with Indian immigrants who turned back from Canada. As the ship returned to India, several of its passengers were killed or arrested in a clash with the British police. The incident left a deep mark in the Indian nationalist movement. The professions of ethnopath.